able to support you. So why SOS? Our technology, our price, our delivery and support infrastructure for partners, and then the business opportunity, the margin, so that what we've succeeded in doing with hundreds, now thousands of partners is to get you into a business which earns you ongoing recurring revenue with extremely high margin, with usually immediate return on your investment for getting into the business. So now what we want to do is just open up to free-form Q&A. So we've got a small enough group here that we'd like to, we can take the line off mute and we can just have a discussion, or we can do, or you feel free to call in and actually talk to a partner consultant directly. So the number for the Los Angeles organizations on the phone, you can talk to any partner specialist right now, or if you type your question, what I'll do is, as in answer to your question, I'll actually unmute the line and then we can discuss it. So please feel free to stick around here, and we'll keep the line open for another 15 minutes of Q&A, or call in and talk to a specialist and get really two things I'd encourage you to get from them. First is that ROI analysis, and the second is a mock-up, so that you can actually, we will build for you for free a product brochure in your name that you can actually give to all of your clients to help drum up interest in online backup. So that product sheet we saw earlier that was rebranded, that's what we call a mock-up, and we can get that for you so that you can see what your online backup product and marketing materials might look like. And if you call in today, you could have that by next week. So by next week, you could start distributing some marketing material to get feedback from your customers about that type of technology. All right, well, that's the end of the presentation component. And then please, anybody who's got questions, just ask them in the questions section, and then we can open the line up for an actual interactive discussion. Okay, so we've got some questions coming in here, which is great. So the first one is from Dennis Simpson. You should be able to, I should be able to hear you. Dennis, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, terrific. So your question, my clients are banks. Do you support GLBA regulations and send us SAS 70 reports? We don't send you SAS 70 reports, Dennis. All of our data centers are SAS 70 certified, so we can make that report available to you, and we get that report updated every 12 months. So that's probably something we can facilitate. It's not something we do as a standard practice, but we have done that for certain larger of our partners. We've certainly got many banks among our customers, so it's dealing with financial institutions or banks is not something we're unfamiliar with.
The GLBA regulations, everything's in order there then?
I'm not actually familiar with GLBA. Is that I'll take a note and have to get back to you on that, and I'll have someone call you with an answer. What does that stand for?
Graham Leach Bialiak.
Okay, right. What we come across most of the time is Sarbanes-Oxley. So we've certainly got a lot of pre-canned material for our Sarbox compliance. As to Graham Leach, I'm not sure, but I'll certainly have someone call you today with an answer to that question.
That'd be great. Thank you.
We've got anything else, Dennis? Any other questions that come to your mind while
no, that pretty much that was my questions. I mean, that's pretty much my client base, and we, since 911, we've been jumping through a lot bigger hoops lately.
Yeah, no, understood. And we've seen similar things with both, obviously with the roll-up of Sarbox, but also HIPAA. So we've got a lot of material on the regulatory compliance aspects of the solution, and we've got hundreds of banks using the solution. So I'm fairly confident that we would be compatible with the GLBA regulations, although I'm not familiar with them in detail. But I'll have one of our. Do you know who you've been working with here at SOS? Have you been talking to anybody in particular?
I'd have to pull up my email, but I know somebody's assigning to me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll have them either talk to our counsel's office.
Paul Scott.
Paul Scott.
Or
yeah,
Scott.
Okay. Well, I'll have Paul get back to you today with an answer on that, Dennis.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so next question here is from Chris Walker. Chris asks, do you support OS backups or just data? So Chris, Chris, we should be able to hear you.
Yes.
So in terms of, when you say OS backups, you mean taking like a bare metal full image of a system? Is that what
Yes, so something similar to Ghost, or so if a
Right.
PC dies, I could recover the PC.
So we don't, and the reason for that is because you then end up with just such a massive amount of data that pushing it over the internet becomes very difficult. So what we, until everybody's got a 50 megabit connection, it's going to be very difficult to do disk images over the wire. So what we recommend is still have a local disk image in the case of full disaster, but use online backup for particularly important data, right? So it's file and folder backup. But then in most cases, say, for example, laptop fleets, there's a standard image you'd recover from. So
Right.
so long as all of the actual user content is backed up, then recovery still would be a matter of applying your standard image and then recovering the user data from off-site. And that's frankly going to be the reality for a little while until upstream bandwidth is more widely available.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions, Chris?
No, I don't think so. I'm probably going to give a sales rep a call in the next day or so.
Great. And have you, just a question, have you, Chris, or Dennis, have either of you gentlemen got ROI models developed for you yet, or had mock-ups produced for you so you could see what this could look like?
No, I have not.
Okay. Dennis, is that something you've done yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, so everybody here on today's call, we've got a small group. That's really the one thing I'd encourage you all to do is have the SOS team build you that ROI model and get you that mock-up. And if nothing else, you get some free marketing material you can distribute to your clients, right, to allow you to assess just what's the demand, how hot is the interest among your customers right now. So I've seen a lot of our partners be successful with that, so I'd really encourage you guys to get that. We've got Mike LaHosse has had to leave, but his question's about follow-up after these webinars. So just for everybody's information, there'll be a video distributed of the webinar, and also the webinar, all previous webinars are available online as an archive. Okay, we don't have any more questions coming from the group. We've still got 13 people in the group, and what else would it be useful for us to talk about? I mean, if I can pick on you, Chris and Dennis, because you've already kind of thrown your hat in the ring. What stops you gentlemen from getting into online backup today? Like what are the areas that you need to be educated more about, or what can I help me learn as to what we as a company can be doing better to bring you to that kind of buying decision?
Well, I probably fit the model of your second one. I'm one-man IT consultant. I do soup to nuts for my clients. Medical clients are my primarily client base, and startups are probably my specialty. So just understanding the service that I could offer my clients, and certainly at a price point that they feel like they're getting a good deal for their dollar, and that I'm able to make it worth my time versus just pointing them to a third party. But most of my clients would prefer me manage everything. They really don't want to do it themselves, so they want to be able to say, here's what I want, and I'll go figure it out and just bill me for it. So, I mean, obviously it still has to be at a reasonable price, and you do have to be able to explain things like the example you gave. Well, a 500 gig hard drive is $40. Why do I want to pay this amount? But that educating them and helping me educate them that the reasons they want to spend this money is probably would be one of the biggest things I could get out of this.
Yep. And actually, William Wheatley's actually just typed a comment that's along a similar line. William, I don't know if you're on the line, but what William's typed is, in my client base, I have both small and large clients. Can this backup service be a good fit for not just SMB, but home-based individual PCs? And my answer is kind of similar to both of you, right, which is that what we see our partners being very successful at is having very different offerings for their different customer segments. So you might have, for home users, say, you might have an extremely cheap option. It might be $50 a year to back up, one PC, or you might do $150, for the whole family. Whereas for the exact same amount of space and for very similar services, a business might be willing to pay $1,500. So for a medical practice, a doctor's surgery, we've got one partner, Kennedy Consulting, who specialises in selling to doctors, and what he's skewed up is just a full data protection managed service that's $500, right? And the cost on that under the hood is very small, but a doctor's practice is willing to pay $500 a month to know that all of their data is protected and backed up. So I think what we would work with you to do is to figure out what are the different ways of packaging this for your several different market segments. So in the case of Dennis, who's selling to banks, those customers are highly price insensitive when it comes to this sort of data protection service, and will happily pay thousands of dollars a month to have a full data solution. They're not that. What we educate our partners to do is to again not focus on the number of gigabytes, but look at a total business solution. So we'll back up your entire business, whether that's 5 doctors or 10 doctors, for a price, and build that into a managed service package with a proposal, with a full DR plan, with a whole lot of your other services that you're offering, so that by bundling it into that solution, it becomes far less of a commodity type service. So I guess summarizing, you're going to have multiple price points for your customers. We work with you to help you design those solutions, and we've got a lot of experience in tailoring to the different markets. And the best thing you can do to be able to sustain margin is to then bundle it into a solution so that it doesn't become a gig-for-gig comparison, if that makes sense. So, William, does that answer your question as well? Or Chris, does that help you? Okay, William said yes. Great. All right. Any other questions or comments that we can talk about in the 5 minutes we've got left? Okay. Well, Dennis, I'll have Paul follow up with you today on some more detailed information on that GLBA requirements. Although I'm relatively confident that we will be compliant with that.
Okay, thank you.
Just on the basis of the fact that we do have so many banking customers, so I imagine that if that's a requirement they're subject to, that's already been vetted by other customers. And then for everyone else, I really recommend to call in and talk to a partner specialist, get an ROI model built, and get some free marketing material produced for you so that you can distribute it to your customers, and then that really gives you a very concrete understanding of what the opportunity is in your customer base. If we don't have any other questions, then we might wrap that up there. I'll be available for another 5 minutes, so if anybody does have any questions, feel free to stick on the line and just type them, and we can open the line back up. But otherwise, thank you everybody for your time. Really appreciate it. We always learn a lot from these sessions, and I hope it's been of value to you all.